My name is Elaine Forbes. Let me tell you about our Uncle Max. While Ottawa is celebrating the life and legacy of Max Keeping, let me take you back to the beginning. First, he was ours. Our ancestors came to Newfoundland from the south coast of England in the late 17th century. Max was the third and last child of Captain Heber Keeping and his wife, Mary Pike, my grandparents. Grandpa Keeping, skipper as he was known, sailed schooners loaded with goods to Portugal and to the Caribbean. He was away almost all the time, leaving his wife to raise 3 children in difficult times. She did not hear from him for months on end, and he survived shipwrecks 3 times. Their oldest child, Margaret, was my mother. The second child, Bert, also went to sea and was swept from a ship into the North Atlantic off the coast of Ireland in 1952. But by then, in 1951, my grandmother had died of cancer. Max was only 9 when he lost his mom. His dad was at sea all the time and could not stay home to take care of him. Margaret, 14 years older, had just married my dad, Harold Foote, and was living in Halifax. So a little boy whose world had turned upside down packed his bags and moved in with his sister. Max has often related how strict she was, but she had also just lost her mother and was a new bride and had no experience in raising a child. I was born in 1952, followed by my brother George in 1954. Max was our big brother. Along with my dad's sisters and brother, our little house was always full. It might have been a strict upbringing, but he was loved. In every picture we have of Max in those years, he is grinning ear to ear. By his teens, we had moved to St. John's. Max found a part-time job at the Evening Telegram. I can well remember my awe and joy when he had my letter to Santa Claus published in the newspaper. The first of the many, many kind gestures to a small child that we have come to associate with Max Keeping. And then, when Max was 16, we moved back to Halifax, leaving him in the care of his cousin Lottie and to his start in journalism. You know the next chapters of his life. Much has been written and seen. But he was in and out of our lives all the time. In the 60s and 70s, it was not unusual for the phone to ring with someone alerting us that Max was on TV. He visited, we visited, and we could see that he was making an impact on the lives of many people. But he was still just Uncle Max to us, always sending gift boxes, sharing the trinkets he picked up all over the place, carting us around town, spoiling us. Although we were not part of the hoopla, we marveled at his celebrity. My mom beamed as she went to Government House on his arm when he received the Order of Canada. She smarted a bit about the strict sister comments in the press, but she was so proud. My children, Bob and Sarah, and George's children, Ash and Michael, grew up knowing and loving their special, famous great Uncle Max. He swept in and out of our lives like a whirlwind. Max gave the toast to the bride at my wedding. He eulogized my mom at her funeral. And now we weep at his. I last saw Max in June. It was a short visit because he was so frail, but I was able to hold his hand, stroke his head, and kiss his cheek. I am privileged to be his niece. He belonged to everyone, but first, he was ours.